This is Behind the Coffee, podcast by Grey Soul Coffee Roasters. I'm Chirag, your host and roast master. Sit back and enjoy.
I'm strolling along, just minding my business, humming a song. I'm happy by myself, not a care in the world.
Hey guys, Chirag here from Grey Soul Coffee Roasters with another episode of Behind the Coffee, a talk show podcast by Grey Soul Coffee Roasters. So today we have a guest by the name of Sufyan, and this is the episode I've been looking forward to and also excited. So Sufyan is a fourth generation coffee farmer from Chikmagalur, and he's come all the way from Bangalore for this podcast. So thank you so much. Welcome, Sufyan.
Thank you.
If you can just introduce yourself to the viewers or to the audience, that would be great.
My name is Sufyan. I am a fourth-gen coffee producer from Chikmagalur. My grandfather and his father before that slowly ventured into farming from tobacco, and then my father took it forward, and then I think this is my turn to go ahead. Coffee for me has been something that I've been associated with myself like since the very beginning, since my childhood. I remember growing up in the drying yards, playing those pulper,
Yeah.
thing, like, sliding down with the coffee.
Oh,
Yeah, like,
I just envisioned that.
Yeah,
I've seen
so-
the pulper and the slide. Never imagined that someone could slide.
Yes, like, with the red, like, we used to come back with the, like, the dirt of the coffee on my body, just take a shower and stuff. So coffee has been a very, like, it's a very big part of me.
No.
So, and
So people generally say coffee is just been a big part of my life, but it seems like you play. We play in the mud, you have played in the coffee.
Yes,
so it's literally a part.
exactly. People have eaten sand. I've, like, got the coffee cherry thing on my face and stuff. And then my father, he started the coffee curing unit. And I think, as the next generation takes it forward, I think I have made my play with specialty coffee, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Yes, so that's
So
it.
you mentioned something about tobacco. So was it not the farm, like, was the farm not doing coffee since day one? Or you, like, there was a pivot or something?
So yes, so we were, my grandfather's father were in tobacco, and then they slightly made the shift to coffee. And then as, my dad has 4 brothers, it is a big family, and all of us ventured into coffee estate. And then after that, my dad, took a special interest and taking, like, in terms of efficiency, he took it, he, like, changed operations. He was a very strict man, very hard, like,
Yeah.
then we changed our place. So it wasn't generally CNT estate as such. We had Sangam estate, and then my coffee, then my father took it separately, and what is now CNT right now. So
CNT as in it stands for?
CNT stands for Chikshalavara and Tarigudda estates. So
Okay.
they are 2 blocks of estates, about 100 each.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he loves coffee, like, like it's funny because, he has amazing, like, I don't mean to be talking well about him, but he genuinely, like, the passion he shows, like, I can literally see so much sadness in his face. Like, if I, like, when I used to, as a kid, I used to fall on the ground, he'll be like, okay, fine, it'll get over. But if he saw a coffee plant drying from the berry borer, like, or an area of life, you could see the sadness on his face.
because if your option is to chop it down and then burn
Burn
it
it,
out.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's
yeah.
pretty
And-
saddening to see.
Yeah. So that's all. Like, and coffee farming in general has been, like, from Chikmagalur. Like, most people, it's like, it's the occupation of most people as such. So yeah, like, that's what got me into coffee, or that's why my exposure to coffee was. I
Yes.
thought as a kid, so I didn't know coffee was a big thing until, like, I moved out and I studied in Bangalore, and when I said, oh, my background is coffee, that's when, like, I used to get a lot of surprises from people. Like, oh, coffee, like, only then I realized, okay, coffee is something different that I'm doing from regular
And
people.
especially in the past couple of years, it has grown a lot. A lot of consumption is happening. A lot
Yes,
of home brewing
yes.
is happening.
Yes,
A lot
yes.
of cafes have come up.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I can see, like, I think I'm at a better place than to understand how the Indian coffee market is going because of the commercial coffee sector that we are also involved in. I can see a lot more interest from roasters in commercial coffee as well, and how specific, how not specific is not the right word. How interested they are in roasting and profiling even those
Yes,
coffees.
yes.
So that only stems from a great uptick in consumption in India. So
Yes.
very very happy to see that. And
Yeah.
I hope increases.
That's what we all want.
That's
yeah.
100%.
We
And
want
like,
everyone to enjoy this amazing beverage.
of course, definitely.
So Sufyan, you asked me the question before we started the podcast, like why you? So I just want the audience also to know that every farm I have visited, I have met the farmers, and then the next generation comes into the picture, and every time I've heard that the next generation does not want to get into farming, like the fourth or the fifth generation. So that is what made me invite you for the podcast and understand from your perspective, when all the other generations are not wanting to get into farming, what made you get into farming as a fourth generation farmer?
Actually, it's it didn't happen. My entry into coffee was not controlled by me, so it was primarily due to COVID. And I studied in a business school, wanted to be in the corporate field, but then COVID happened, and then like one day before the lockdown was announced, I think that day changed my life very. Otherwise, I would have done my lockdown in Bangalore, and my life would have turned differently. So, but when I returned to Chikmagalur, then because coffee farms, you could roam around a bit more freely than other people. So I had the opportunity to go really immerse myself. I always used to play around, but never really understood the intricacies of the coffee estate. That's when I really got involved, and I understood, and I thought, okay, these are so many things that I can improve here, and how I can add my value, and how I can make this stand out from what other people have been doing, or how we can take this ahead. Like I had always heard of Blue Tokai came up when I was in college. Always thought like, what was different? This is some they made coffee like. I'm so sorry to say that. Okay, I just saw a lot of roasters making coffee cool.
Yeah.
Really appreciating the coffee is what the right.
Yeah. So see, it's our job, our duty to make sure that the full potential of the green bean is converted, and what you see in the final cup, what you perceive, what you taste in the final cup is the outcome of that. So yes, that is one of my points also of discussion today, that how we can work together at a much more deeper level, because like I said, the full potential of green bean to roasted, to get the full potential out is what the roaster's job is, and which is a very important part of the life cycle of coffee as well. So nonetheless,
One thing I'd like to add there is India's consumption, at least South India's consumption, has only been through filter coffee. And being in the commercial space, I kind of have an idea of what kind of coffee goes there. And like when you add milk and sugar to it, it doesn't make like there's not much difference between taking the best coffees available and taking sub premium or like regular coffees. So I was always wondering, like, if we grow such good coffees, why are only these people we ordinarily drink that? Why are these people only using these grades of coffee to make filter coffee? So that was, and that inside, I was always puzzled by it, and then now that this is coming up, I'm so happy. Yeah.
in a way, specialty coffee or the effort that you have been putting in and we have been putting in is, like I said, it's creating the right image for the coffee, the appreciation that it deserves. And like I always say, coffee is all about flavor, so chase it for the flavor. And then slowly it becomes a lifestyle for you, when you wake up, you brew your coffee and you enjoy it. That's exactly what we all want. We want coffee to be a part of every household. We want coffee to be a part of your routine, and enjoy it just for its flavor, because it's unimaginable. Like we say at Grey Soul Coffee Roasters, right? The possibilities between the black and white are endless. And that's exactly what the final cup of coffee is. Nonetheless, thank you for elaborating on that part, because from what I have heard, like no one wants to get into coffee. So that's my other question to you. So from what I heard, as a profession or as a business, coffee farming is not that lucrative, or it's not that it's not money making as such. I don't know about the unit economics of that much. So again, going back to question number 2, like what made you choose coffee farming? Though you said that you did not have an option, now that you're doing it, what do you feel like? Why are those generations not getting into coffee? What are the challenges?
100%. So I think the reasons are twofold. One is the financial incentives are not there yet. So, and previously, the previous generations, they had limited opportunities available.
Okay.
And now with the advent of so many more avenues have opened up for people to go and learn and make more money. So on an asset price, at current asset prices, a coffee farm earns at best 5 to 6%. That's the rate of inflation.
Okay.
So for some
And coffee only grows once a year.
once a year, and I'm talking about including the other plants that we grow, that such as pepper, areca nut.
So including everything.
Including everything.
So like an estate, a farm,
Estate and a
100-acre
farm.
farm would make
Yes.
6% max.
At 6% max net, I'm talking
Net,
about at
okay.
current asset prices level.
Okay.
Like, like the rate of
The rate of land,
the
the
rate
other
of land.
costs,
Yes, 100%.
inflation adjusted.
100%. The other reason, it's ironic that the same reason why we have a skilled worker issue is why we don't have people coming up, new generation not taking over. The answer is urban mobility.
Okay.
So, as young children, at least most of people who have interacted with and who have been around have studied outside.
Okay.
Chikmagalur or all the other, in search of better educational opportunities. So there is our section has been used to living in cities or like getting the best education possible. And the fact is, cities have a power to attract people that rural areas don't have.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same reason why we have a skilled worker issue, where people would be willing to live in, remote part, will be willing to work in remote parts and not willing to work in remote parts.
So basically what you're trying to say is, to work on a coffee farm, you need to stay at the coffee farm.
Yes.
Because it's not just during the harvest period, it's before and after also.
Yes, 100%.
So there is a challenge of getting the people
Yes,
to work at the
100%.
farm.
People want to live in urban places. So if you see towns like Chikmagalur, towns like Kur have expanded exponentially in the last 10-15 years.
Yeah.
So people are moving there. There is a lot of urban mobility there, and coffee, the new generation of like farmers, they also try to move to cities. So this is what I feel as being city life. Leave the pollution and all aside, it still offers a lot of choices.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean just because someone is in a city he will do that, but a person would like to have the choice to do it.
Yeah.
A choice to go out to the best restaurant, to the best hospital, to the best, whatever you need.
Yeah. Choices is what is
Choice-
correct. You're right.
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
So it's the same reason, why we don't have, why we have a skilled worker issue right now, and that is, and the third, sorry to add one more, is a skilled worker issue.
Yeah. Skilled worker, I feel, is an issue everywhere. I don't know how to put it, but for a country with so many people and such large population, it's actually uncanny to have a
Have a
skilled
skilled
worker issue, because there's so much employment. But but then I think the responsibility falls upon our shoulder to get the person on board and also train them to eventually make them skilled.
Yes, but
So
they
that's
should
another
be-
issue.
yeah.
But you have another added issue, which is there are no people only who are willing to move and work there.
Work there.
Skill comes later.
Skill comes later, yeah.
That I had that question in my earlier episodes also, of even technology or machines not being a part of
Yes.
farming. Like I was talking to Rohan, he said you have drones wherein you can have drones fly in and spray things, but then drones also clash into other shade trees, because coffee is shade grown in India.
Yeah.
So how do we get out of this?
Innovation.
Exactly. anything that you read recently, anything that you're
Yes.
working on?
Yeah. So I definitely feel if cracked well, these are great 200 crore opportunities in India. If you can solve the machinery, if you can innovate, if you can do it and execute it well, these are great opportunities. People like someone has like, I'm not talented enough to know about it, but I am willing, I am open to working with someone who is willing to solve these problems. It is very hard, like compared to, so this is an India-centric problem. It has to be an India-centric solution.
It has to be.
It has to be. You can't.
Because, I've
you
heard,
can't
like, you
have a
cannot
Latin
have-
American solution apply to an Indian.
Because the whole land is different. Like it's not a flat land. Here they don't have a flat land.
Here you have people climbing onto trees and picking coffees, and and it's just that the quality of life is better in rural towns and stuff like that versus in estates which are a bit interior.
Who is working in the estates now? Like whoever is working, whatever people you have, whatever skilled workers you have, who are those? Is it that
They are.
is it a new generation or
No, it's you can't say new generation. Some people, so for specific skills, we have a lot of migrant workers who come there.
okay?
Like, and it just shows like how beautiful coffee is. Like to produce this cup or whatever we drink today, a lot of people have played their part. Like people from Tamil Nadu come for a specific skill. People from North Karnataka come for a specific skill. Like a lot of people, like their input is like, coffee plays a large role there.
Can you elaborate on that part? Like what specific skill are you talking about?
So let's say, there's shading where you control the amount of shade you give coffee. So a lot of workers from Tamil Nadu come from that. They're skilled in that. They climb trees, and the way they do it, it's crazy.
I've seen
it's
that.
risky.
And it's pretty fast also.
They're efficient but fast, and it's risky. Like
I have a clip of that. I'll add to the episode.
yes, so sometimes and these things usually happen in summer holidays. So when I used to come back from school, I studied in a boarding school. So when I did come back from school, I used to just stand there and look up to them and see how they were cutting, and most of them didn't have safety measures.
Yeah.
Like it was really mesmerizing to see.
And there are no helmets, no any gear or anything. I'm not
Pure
particularly in
badass,
favor of that, but I don't know why we don't use safety measures in our country. But they're truly skilled.
Truly
They're
skilled,
confident about
gifted,
their gifted also can be a word. Yeah.
They're truly gifted, and even for harvesting, specific groups of people do come down just for harvesting. So they come and they work in crazy hard, and they go back really quickly.
And then you have to do 2 or 3 rounds of harvest also.
100%. So it is getting harder. So in my dad's time, so it's a good how do I say this? See, the thing is, India is growing, right? So more employment opportunities outside are available. So people would prefer to do a less riskier job in a better place for this similar or a higher amount of money than do this.
So it will be like a plan B for someone.
Yes.
Never a plan A.
Never a plan A.
So innovation is the right answer.
Innovation is the right answer. This is a great market opportunity. It's just that someone has to come in and realize it.
Perfect.
Innovation can be done. I'm 100% in favor of that.
Yeah, even I am. I guess
it can
I think it will happen. It's inevitable.
Inevitable. So thing is, it'll compound. We need simpler tools. We should start with simpler tools to make people who are, make sure that people who are currently doing it. Let's say one of the most skilled is the pruning of the plant.
Pruning of the plant.
It is a very skilled job. It took me at least, I still think I'm at 75% efficiency, but it takes about 4 to 5 years to learn it. The first step would be to make machines, simpler machines, to make them to help them, if they're doing one plant in 15 minutes, we need to come up with tools that will make them do that same plant in about 7 to 8 minutes.
It's half the time. Yeah.
Half the time. So in a way, that's how I think, that's the best way for innovation to happen.
And right now it's all manual done by hand.
It's all manual done by hand. They have the
the hook shape.
this thing. they go like, you know, proper wrist work. Like, it's crazy. how
Yeah,
they go.
I agree with you. It should start at a very simpler solutions will also add a lot of value.
Yeah. Like, you can't create a crazy product from 0 to 100 right then.
Yeah.
It should happen slowly, and then like compounding
Yeah.
happens slowly for a long time, and then it speeds up rapidly. So we need the main point is we need India-based, India-centric solutions for it.
Perfect. I hope someone is listening and coming up with the solution
Please
already. So if someone comes up to you at the farm, you'll be more than welcome to have
More
a
than
demo
welcome.
done. and-
More than welcome.
Yeah.
See, at the end of the day, we want to make sure, like, it's a lot of thinking happens as planters.
Okay.
A lot of worrying, a lot of thinking happens. How will we get this done? How will we get that done? So as as the tension lowers a bit, we can focus on other things and how to improve the plantation.
Understood. So tell me, Sufyan, now that you are a farmer technically and you spend most of your time there, what's a day in like for you as a young, new generation
Yes.
coffee farmer?
So ideal day in Chikmagalur would be first wake up, head to the farm, see what's happening, see what's make sure like everything that's planned for the day is executed. People are right there doing the right things. One more thing about coffee management is physical presence is paramount.
What do you mean by that?
Physical presence.
And you need to be there to make
Yes,
sure, oversee everything.
Oversee everything. Physical.
But then how do you manage 200 acres or thousands of acres?
Each day is planned. So each day is planned. Okay, today this is the area that we are going to do today.
Okay, so the outcome of the work will help you understand whether the work was done or not.
Yes.
It's not like you can put CCTV cameras
You
on.
can't. It is harder to just manage it with CCTV cameras. Just it has shown that physical presence improves output quite more.
Okay.
Just by being there, just by seeing that they're doing the right things. What happens is now again with climate change, extreme weathers demotivates people to do the right job. Extreme like sunlight and stuff like that. So people are slowly, like even the workers who do come down, who are still learning, it makes them it's a normal human tendency to just make your work as easy as possible.
Yeah.
So, and when they come in and when we show them, okay, this is how you do, and we go to the next person, they would have just slowly started taking shortcuts. Okay. You get what I'm saying? And then you have to then reinforce the same behavior again and again. And then, so coming back to my day, and then I come back to our curing unit, and make sure the delivery is there. So from November to March, April, jam-packed. No Sundays, nothing.
November to March,
April to that extent.
Okay.
We're working Sundays, we're working almost every day.
every day.
Because, coffee has to come.
Peak of harvest, yeah.
Peak of harvest, like in terms of both on the estate side and in the curing work side as well.
Yeah.
Because, you should be ready when the coffee comes in. You should never shut your door for people, because India grows X amount of coffee. If it doesn't come to you, it goes to someone else. So basic economics of a curing works is the more coffee that comes, the more you can sell.
Of course.
And it's very hard to increase production. It's something that does not increase 10% year on year.
Yeah.
So that way you have to be alert, you have to be there, and problems do come.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a part.
Part and parcel. Like this, but you should be there to be able to handle it very effectively.
So now November is coming up. How are you preparing yourself? What's going on in your head?
Yes, so there's a lot of work that's happening, preparing for the next harvest, and with specialty, I'm planning to do a lot more than I did last year. So every year.
Anything in particular you're working on? Or you have some preliminary ideas?
So planning to work with a patented yeast that a few of my friends have done, and something with Koji as well. So and what I did last year, what worked last year, to produce them at scale.
Okay.
To produce them at a higher scale than I did last time. Because I think, as I told you, like that last year was my first year into specialty
Yes,
coffee, and
yes.
like I did experiments. So and stuff like that. So one thing
Turned out
that
well.
huh?
Turned out well.
Turned out well, thank God. Yeah, that's that's what I'm trying to. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. We can edit this though.
Yeah. November you're planning, yeah.
Yeah, November I'm planning. No, there was something else that I wanted to tell. I'm so sorry. Okay, if it comes up.
No problem, yeah. So great. I think this November to March is also a period where we as roasters end up visiting and
Yes.
the discussions happen. So that was my question to you as well. Like every year I try and visit and then approach Sufyan and people like you. I feel that we should work at a much more deeper level.
100%.
Like you said that you're working on a patented yeast with a couple of your friends, but then I feel that I think it should happen the way that us roasters also and we should work together on, okay, if we do this kind of particular processing, or if we do this kind of drying or any kind of process, the outcome can be this, it can be roasted in a different way. I think right now whatever is going on is great. The whole life cycle of Indian specialty coffee is set. Farmers are innovating, roasters are innovating, brewers at home are also innovating, which is a great thing. I think if all work together, the final cup can be much more better.
100%.
So those are the discussions I would like to have when I'm at the farm in the month of October, which is now or next month. That is something I've always felt, not as a gap as such, which is already happening. Like a lot of people like you have welcomed me and we have worked together to produce something great. I think that should happen more. Like, what do you
definitely.
think? What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely, like the kind of inputs that you give us, like it has a lot more effect, because that's the only way. So with commercial coffee, the only outcome, the only parameters that would get judged were weight of coffee, how much you've produced.
That's it. Yeah. As opposed to specialty, which is way different.
Yeah, so one more great thing that has happened, or that I have seen in the past few years, is a lot of study by the planters themselves to go deeper into the soil.
Into the soil.
Into the
Yeah.
soil. So, like, stuff like primary nutrients were always there. So now you have secondary nutrients, you have macronutrients, you have, like, there's so much deeper study going into soil health is in, like, and it's really going to propel the state of Indian coffee later.
I think it's essential, right?
It's 100% essential. I'm just saying people did do it before, very few people do it, but now a lot of people are understanding, going behind the science of it.
Nice.
Nice. So I think this is one region where I think young farmers, like people like my generation, can come and understand that a modern coffee farm is coming very close to a modern business organization. Where as I said, Indian coffee has its own, like, a lot of, like, I'll give you an example. Like, the last I heard of boron or manganese was in 10th grade.
Okay. Yeah. When we were studying in school, yeah.
Yeah, now, like, I've heard, like, how secondary nutrients help the, like, nitrogen fixation, phosphorus fixation, how to make sure your soil is healthy, how do you get. See, the more we are going forward, the more we are going forward today, the more we are going backward. And I'll explain this how. We are at this moment, there is an increased influence of trying to see earthworms in your estate. A sign of earthworms is a sign of great estate. A lot of how bees work in your estate, like increase bee pollination, and like people are studying about how to set up bee areas in their estates and stuff like that. So a lot of factors are coming in where it's interesting, it's scientific more than hearsay.
Yeah. It's basically going back to where we started.
Definitely going back to where we started from, and I'm all for it, and I love it. There's a scientific backing to what we do.
Yeah. Because that certain amount of convincing is still needed
is still
to
needed.
say that whatever was going on before was actually the right way.
Yes, 100%, 100%, and a lot more interest and lot more work has been going on in choosing the right materials in your fertilization and stuff like that. A lot of people have been
And that comes from the study that a farmer does.
100%. Like you have, as a farmer, like you have to be very mindful of what you put in. I was under the misconception. I personally was under the misconception. You put an input, you get an output within 3 or 4 months. Like you have to see an output. But now, after understanding, coffee is very much like a child.
Yeah. I've heard this a lot of times. Like you need to take care of the plant.
Yeah,
It's
like-
not like you just. It's growing since years, so it will continue growing.
Yes. That was a very bad misconception that even I had. But now I understood, like, to see great results, you have to be okay with delayed gratification.
Yeah. It's the nice way of putting it.
Yeah, you have to be very, very patient. You have to be okay with delayed gratification because the inputs that you will put in now, once you understand the reasoning or why something has to happen in that particular way, you will be understand. Like, you could see the inputs that we put now will be visible in 4 years time, 5 years time, because it's state of constant evolving, and it happens slowly at first, but then again, once it comes to a certain level, it will shoot up. You can see your benefits then. Like, I have become so much more involved in all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, one thing that has helped me the most is ChatGPT.
Yeah, I was going to ask you this.
Yes, it's insane. Like,
How exactly? What made you use it, or
I'll give you an
where
example.
it has led you? Yeah.
Definitely in specialty coffee processing.
Okay.
I had so many questions for people and like fellow farmers that at one point I knew I was irritating them, and
That's how curious minds work.
yeah,
That's how we learn.
At one point you're like, okay, listen, I'm annoying this person, got to figure out my own thing, like, and I do not, and one is a penchant for quick information right now.
Yeah.
And that's when I set up I saw GPTs, and like GPT 1 2 3 came out, and then like as it kept getting better, then I started just experimenting. One day I'm like, okay, what do I do? I just downloaded the app, started searching, and then it explained so well in a
Big
way.
example.
So there's this concept on Reddit. So there's this concept like explain like I'm 5, ELI 5. So when you put in tough topic, let's say quantum mechanics, for example, people used to explain it in a way that a 5-year-old would understand. So it actually comes from like a great quote of a very person who I admire, Warren Buffett. So if you need to understand something, you should be able to explain a 5-year-old. That is how that is the strength of the concept should be. That's how
Understood.
strong your concept
Yeah.
should be in your mind. So if you understand anything at a foundational level, it'll just help you build down the skills. So I use it, like I'm very okay with being wrong today and tomorrow in hopes of being right 5 years or 6 years down from now. So
Like you said, delayed gratification.
delayed gratification, exactly.
Any particular input, any particular command that you want to share, like anything in specific
Yes.
related to coffee? Yeah.
100%. Okay. With respect to pH levels, with respect to this, I've done this process. Now, what do I do next? Create a chart for me. So, artificial intelligence is going to have a big impact on coffee, and I'll tell you
Apparently
how.
a big impact on a lot of things.
A lot of things, but coffee, I think it in the next 3-4 years, great impact. Like in terms of disease identification, in terms of planning, in terms of a lot of things. Like I think in the next 3-4 years we'll be able to click a picture of a plant, and and it can identify what may be wrong with it.
Is it?
Yes, in 3-5. See this age of data, like a lot of information is being fed in.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better.
Of course.
Right now, GPT 4.0 that has come out is very advanced. It's just going to get better as the days go. like with disease identification, with management, and you put in. So one thing that I used to do is CCRI, Coffee and Research of the Coffee Research Center in Chikmagalur.
Yeah.
Used to publish in publish pamphlets and PDFs in Kannada or in English,
Yeah, yeah.
but very long format.
Yeah.
I just put it in, explain it in English, simple English to me. And I understood, okay, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens. And, these are the primary nutrients. Like, I'm giving you an example.
Yeah,
These are
yeah.
the nutrients that are required. What is the time difference between applying this nutrient and that nutrient? Yeah,
Science,
like
yeah.
it's, yeah. So recently I taught my father to use it, and he's been playing around with it, and I love it. Like, I love to see the same enthusiasm.
It's great.
still
It's
there.
great. Like for you as a fourth generation farmer to pick up things faster and apply that logic and get the result. This is great. Yeah. This is just
Like,
going to get better only.
It's
Yeah.
only going to get better. Like, I envision a future where by using AI,
No, I did not think about it like at a farm level, Chat GPT, that this is
yes, disease identification, planning. You put the layout. Like, let's say you create a layout.
Yeah.
It tells you the best kind of layout based on soil, your root spread,
nice.
and the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it helps you go deeper into it. Like this soil, this is the material of this soil. You can plant by these spaces, and like how the roots won't be affected, where you can plant your trenches or your and all of that. So I think big implications to come.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Like we as roasters also use AI, but it's at a very, very preliminary stage. Like because see, most of our work is going to be based on our senses, but AI is used when we are roasting. Like AI can help predict the first crack, help predict the dry end, and help understand the roast in a way that we are more consistent.
100%.
But looking at the applications at a farm level, it's blowing my mind. Yeah.
So this is what I envision it to be. Again, it comes down to prompts.
Yeah. Of
How
course.
do you
Always
deliver
is.
the best prompt?
This explaining to me as a 5-year-old is something new. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the way you put your prompt is like you need to understand how that works.
Of course.
For you to put in the prompt that you need for the information you need to have. Otherwise, if you just put simple question, it'll answer some it doesn't
Yeah.
give you the right answer.
Yeah, it'll just spit
Yeah.
out the most common.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's why prompt engineers is
Even when you now Google, I think Google the first response
so
is
it's
an
just
AI response.
AI response. But with I don't know why I'm promoting ChatGPT so much, but the memory
For the
function,
betterment
uh,
of
yeah,
coffee.
of course. So like the memory function. So
Yeah.
the information you
Saves
put-
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it saves everything, and it gives
just
you a
are,
nuance. It gives you a nuance.
You're back to where you left off.
100%, 100%. So you understand, okay, this is the disease I have. What things can I use to make sure my soil is
Any
better?
kind of logic or any kind of coffee processing logic based on ChatGPT that you're going to apply this year?
No, came down to simplicities, like creating processes. So when I was doing it, I had a lot of okay, now floaters were done. How it's very simple. Okay, how do I transfer? Can I keep this coffee overnight? For example, once it's done from the pulper, before I, so it was very hard for me. So once the coffee is picked at the end of the
You
day,
have to immediately dry it on the racks, I guess.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what. So how long can I keep?
Hmm.
When you go into the details, is that when it helps. So can I, once I've picked the coffees today. Let's say I want to do a naturals process. Can I keep it overnight? And can I, sort the green, non-green, and the red tomorrow morning?
Then dry it the other day.
And dry it the other day.
Yeah. So what was the answer?
Yes, you can. Some fermentation does happen, but it's best practice if you do it on the day itself.
Yeah.
But with the constraints that we have, it is few coffees we do it on the day if we have time. But if there's a big thing that's coming up, then it's then
That's what I love about farming. Like every single hour, every single parameter can change so many variables. Same
100.
goes with roasting. Like so much that can be done when we are profiling.
Yes. In terms of even water, what kind of water I
Yeah,
should
yeah.
use and stuff like that.
Coffee keeps fascinating us,
100%.
keeps us on our toes, And we keep learning something new every day, I guess.
100%. So like this year, what I'm thinking of doing was testing my water what I use for processes and using that report, put in ChatGPT, what can I do to improve this? Whether I should use a sand filter or whether I should use a carbon filter. It gives me accurate data on how I should proceed to improve to achieve that +1 score or +1.5 cup score.
Nice. I was going to ask you one thing about sustainable farming, like how not be carbon neutral completely, but I feel reusing of water and sun drying of coffee is anyways pretty climate friendly, I guess. It's not like we're using mechanical dryers or things like that. Some cases we do in extreme weather. So what's your thought on that? Like, what measures are you taking, or what more can be done?
So at this point, as I've said before, the financial incentives are not there. I think it can be done. Like you can get a coffee farm's efficiency to a level where you're earning at least the level of like the 15% that you get in a stock market.
Yeah.
One way is the carbon credits. I don't know how, but that is one aspect that if looked on well, it can increase farmers' incomes.
Okay.
Like that is one aspect, and then with sustainable farming in India, like our biodiversity is great. We are doing great work with EUDR coming in. I don't see a lot of problems for Indian coffee.
What exactly do you know?
EUDR is the European Union Deforestation Regulations. So like it might affect other countries, but in India I don't see it affecting a lot of farmers as such.
Okay.
Yeah, so
we're in fact planting more, I guess.
And in fact planting
and
more.
Taking care of the existing plants as well.
Yes, taking care of existing plants as well. Sustainability is very paramount to us. So one thing is going to the nutrients that we put in. A lot of nutrients today with the rise in technology are very, organic friendly.
Okay.
So a lot of even though they are expensive, we are still investing in them to get, to leave. We are very focused on.
So does that help the final cup, or does that help in the longevity of the plant, or the increased life of soil?
All.
The organic things that you're using.
Yes. So in terms of again coming back to earthworms and bees and stuff like that. Soil health is for us is paramount now.
Okay. Soil health is
very
paramount.
Important. One important thing is using coming away from residue leaving this thing. So we started it long ago, but we are seeing a lot of farmers undertaking understanding of not leaving residue in their coffee, using nutrients or inputs that do not leave any residue.
Oh.
Yeah. Even though if it's expensive, people are willing to invest in non-residue this thing because people are understanding right now that as the world changes, you need your coffee to stand out.
Of course.
There is a growing interest in people knowing what's behind their coffees. It has happened abroad. It is coming to India.
I think before the podcast you were asking me a question we need to portray specialty coffee by the means of packaging or by the means of information or the kind of marketing we are doing.
100%.
So what exactly are you expecting from us roasters? Can you care to elaborate on that?
Yes, perfect. So with the way perfumes, so coffee is at least specialty coffee is a very premium product.
I always say it's for the flavor, so enjoy it for the flavor.
Enjoy it for the flavor. So once you understand it, so I feel it should be marketed in a way that very as someone from LVMH would package their perfume bottles, or would United Breweries package their alcohol bottles or such.
Understood.
People should be proud to keep their coffees on the showpiece.
That's one aspect. Yeah. So.
So packaging says a lot.
Packaging also adds to the whole experience, right?
100%.
I get the package. I'm excited to open it. I'm excited to try what's inside. So I agree with you on
100%. And I'll tell you, so brewing coffee, right? It's a lot similar to how IKEA has done. So there's a study that says that because people work on their own products in IKEA, people tend to take care of them better and enjoy it more. Brewing is very similar to that. Like, because there is a lot of work instead versus filter coffee or instant coffee where just milk and like you mix it. Brewing takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
So with that, there's a great messaging that you're using a great product. I feel the satisfaction, and like you would tell more people about what you were doing.
I 100% agree. And then anyways, post that, I think the information is anyways given by us roasters, because the pillars of specialty coffee is
Yes.
transparency and traceability. So we
Traceability.
try to give as much information
Information
as
as
possible,
possible.
so that brewers can then innovate also,
Yes.
building on that.
Yes, like the way like limited edition coffees, similar to like I know coffee cannot be stored for a long time,
Yeah.
but in terms of limited micro lots, you can be like, oh, this is like a 1972 wine or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel that is the way to get this thing. And coffee, I feel coffee should be very much involved in popular culture right now.
Meaning?
It should be like, I wish that we had more people in the media, like rappers, talking about it, like how they talk about watches, like a Patek on a hand or a Audemars Piguet on a hand. Like it should come in their songs and stuff like that. I drink specialty coffee, like those things, like, so that becomes when you have like cool,
Interesting, yeah.
when you have cool messaging around it, cool product around it. See that this part, like, once apart from the packaging, rest all is taken care of.
Yes.
It's already up there.
Yeah, product is great. It speaks for itself. Flavors are amazing.
There's
But,
there's a lot of work done to extract it and stuff like that. But imagine what effect would popular culture have on it. You would have specialty coffee. They're creative enough to get it out there. We just need them to be involved in it.
Nice. And they might be consuming it on a daily basis.
Yeah, we never know. Like, people might love their espressos and stuff like that. Like, people do use espressos.
Yeah.
And
Look at the home setups now, right?
yes.
Like, I have seen a Micra, I have seen a Mini, I have seen Bravels, I have seen a great
Yeah,
manual
great.
setup at home. Because it's not more about the equipment, like I always say, but I love the fact that everyone is embracing coffee, brewing at home, sharing recipes, talking about
Perfect.
it, sharing it with everyone
it's-
else. Every now and then I hear a comment that my sister or my father is now having a pour over. I converted them or something like that.
It's crazy. I
just
never
happy to
thought
hear that,
India
yeah.
would be like this, but I'm so happy it's like.
Oh, India is growing leaps and bounds, and can't fathom what's
Yeah.
going to come, but it's going to be great.
Imagine what a great like coffee, like, see, Davidoff has done it, but it's not done, it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. And I think we discussed about this,
Yeah.
that they just
I think, of course, they have sort of created some sort of a segment for them, but I feel it's like taking two steps back. Like taking away the process of slow brewing or
Exactly.
enjoying or getting to know your
Exactly.
coffee better, because they have worked out the math, they've worked out everything for you. Just take a spoonful and be done with it.
But I think at least Grey Soul, for me, I think is in a right space to introduce something. See that you're doing something that's artisanal, lot of work is going behind it. Like, you can talk about how like it's sustainably, like, not, it is actually sustainably
Yes.
produced. It's created only for you.
Yeah.
See, a lot of messaging is right there. It's just that it has to be shown to people, and that's when I think people will embrace it more. When it looks good, when it looks sexy. This looks real. Like, even I think I just told you about it. This, when I touch
Yeah.
and feel this, it looks really great. It's
Thanks
like-
for that. Yeah.
yeah.
So I agree with you on the packaging front. Like even if I order something online today, I'll be very excited to get my package, then open it, then do the unboxing, and then feel the
Yes.
packaging. Because even before I brew the coffee, I am like so excited and so happy that I'm going to enjoy the beverage even more.
Yes, 100%. So I'll give you an example. So Apple, right, changed the way packaging is done.
Yeah.
So when you have you ever bought? When you open an iPhone,
Yeah.
there's a swish sound there's a specific sound that comes when you open it.
I have, but I've never noticed.
Yeah. So Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive like worked tireless hours on that, and it's patented. The way it's removed, the sound of when it comes.
It just slowly slides off, yeah.
There's a specific sound that comes. If they have put in so much work, I think it's time for us to do as well.
Yeah. So I think we have done this wherein it says now
Yeah,
for the satisfying part, and then
yeah,
you peel it.
I
Some
really
sort of-
liked it.
So it's also called gamification.
Gamification
in
is
packaging.
Packaging, yes. So that's one thing that stuck with me when I read about it. And like if they've understood the entire customer experience. Every time, let's say every time someone's ready to brew their coffee, every opening of the packet should be a new experience. Like every time the smell it should hit them when they open it. Like each coffee is a
Of
different
course.
experience.
Of course. Yeah. Unboxing to the final
Yes,
coffee
coffee
bag,
to-
to tearing the zip off,
Oh.
to the
Till-
aroma. Like
till-
even before I brew, there's so much that is happening.
So much that we can control
Exactly.
and we'll speak about.
That is what I mean. Like the other traditional brands, like even though they have created their segment, but they've taken this thing
It's
away from the consumers, which is what I'm not a big fan
Fair
of.
enough. Oh yeah, 100%. And I feel see everything. I'm not saying it because you're sure, but I really like the way you've done everything here today.
Thank you so much.
I'm really happy to see that. Everything was good, but we can only grow for so much from here, and I feel like you are in the right place to do that.
Yeah. Looking forward to a much better, much more innovative future.
Innovative future, 100%.
It was great talking to you, Sufyan, and I think I took a lot in terms of soil health, ChatGPT at farm level, and the other things that we spoke about. Interesting. Like I said, I was looking forward to this, and it was great talking to you off and on camera.
I have a few
yeah.
questions
Yeah,
for you.
sure.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Where do you see the coffee as where do you see coffee going in the next 2-3 years?
See, it's the same question I asked myself 2 years back and the years before. So, the basic answer is consumers are growing on a daily basis. Like more consumption is happening means a lot of people are, like I said, embracing coffee and brewing a lot of coffee at home. That's point number one. Point number two, the same brewers are now also innovating in terms of creating recipes and getting the best out of the coffee. So if you get a best out of your coffee that you're brewing, you inevitably rave about it and then you talk to more people. And again, that is affecting point number one, which is increasing the consumption. Third, what I love about is that us working together to create something phenomenal, to create something absolutely stunning. Like we working together can change the final cup in so many ways and keep the innovation alive. That is what I love about coffee, and what I feel is that's going to grow, and I think I will be the one taking more initiative on that front. Fourth of all, I was talking on the previous episode with Mr. Ram also that there is a lot of innovation happening in terms of equipments, like your flow control and pre-infusion and post-infusion. So much happening and it's coming to India. So I'm happy about that. So innovation is coming to India. Brewers are experimenting a lot. We are working together. I see that there is a lot of crop now in the Indian market rather than being exported, and everyone talking about it. So all these things are growing. I think to answer your question, the next 2-3 years, I think the popular culture that you spoke about, I think that will also happen. A lot of celebrities, a lot of influential people are going to be more open about it. Like if you see a couple of shows on Netflix now or on Amazon Prime or somewhere, you will see a celebrity brewing a French press. You'll see them making their own coffee, talking about coffee. Maybe it's a 10-second bit, but they are actually appreciating it. So that is going to increase, and that's going to increase a lot. So that's what is going to happen, I guess. We're heading in the right direction, and we're going at a very good speed.
Okay. I have a few more questions actually.
Yeah, sure.
One, if you had a genie in the coffee roasting business or for Grey Soul, if you had one wish from a genie, what would you do? What would you ask for?
I want the whole the journey of green bean, like when it leaves the farm to reaches us roasters. I want the crop to reach in a perfect condition. Like many a times what happens is the bean breaks, there are cuts, there are bits, or there is no sorting, or probably in transit it can lose moisture. A lot of things can happen. So we put in a lot of effort in terms of profiling and then roasting. So I want the crop to reach to me in a perfect condition so that I can create an even better product. So in some magical way, if that happens, that would be great. Like, this is the green bean we spoke about, this is the outcome of it, this is the moisture of it, this is the density of it, and this is exactly what you got it 7 days or 10 days or next day. That would be an ideal scenario which I would love, because the last thing we want as roasters is to do the sorting and do things on our end which is already taken at the farm level, which is happening right now, but I still want all the parameters intact so that we can get the full potential out of the green bean.
Very nice.
Maybe a question back at you guys,
Yeah.
but it's happening, and I just want the whole thing to be perfect.
Crazy. Oh, you're asking me this question?
No, I think it's already happening, but just should be perfect. Like you said, it's a wish, right?
It's
so
a
I
wish.
wanted to be 100%
Percent
perfect.
wish. Okay, 100%.
100%.
Perfect.
Because every single parameter in a green bean or a roasted bean matters.
100%. That's, yeah. Oh, are you asking that if I were given the same question?
No. That's my answer to your question.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a great answer actually. Okay, but okay, I have a question. Okay, apart from this, in terms of your business, in terms of unit economics, what do you think would be greatly beneficial for Grey Soul? Like, or any roaster in general?
See, I think for us roasters, we are our primary focus is putting a great product out there. But with that, there are a lot of other things that we need to do. Like you said, the packaging experience needs to be great. The shipping has to be super fast. So unit economics in roasted coffee is, I don't think anyone will ever answer that question, because like you said, the net profits or the gross margins are not at all very lucrative, because shipping is free, packaging is expensive, product takes a lot of effort to make, then there is loss when green bean to roasted has a loss as well. So but it's fun. If I am passionate and curious, I love doing what I do, and I love it when I listen to a brewer coming back to me saying that okay, my dad is also having, my mom is also having, my friends are also having, I love the coffee, great job, looking forward to the next one. So keeping money aside, keeping business aside, the product is great, but yes, it has a lot of added expenses to it which amount to a way bigger amount.
Okay, so one question.
Yeah.
On a net-to-net basis, who do you think is making more, like, on a net profit perspective, who do you think is better off, a roaster or a planter?
Planter, I guess, because a planter has more avenues. You can sell to the Indian market and you can sell to the market abroad as well.
Rates are the same.
Yeah, so basically what you grow is what you sell. For us, we have to buy from you, because then we have to eventually reach out to the home brewers and make sure that they also have a great cup of coffee. So for us, the market size is smaller, for you the market size is bigger. So it's a simple answer that definitely planters, maybe your margins are less, but you have a wider audience to sell to, a wider audience to serve to. Now of course, with extreme weather conditions, the yield might be lower or might be higher. At least you have the room.
Yes.
We don't, unless we go global, which is the whole point of Grey Soul Coffee Roasters. Eventually we want Indian specialty coffee to be global, and we want to be at the forefront of that.
I might disagree a little bit, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, so climate change is something that I really want to speak about. It's wreaking havoc. Like this year, 2024, we had record high temperatures and record high rainfall.
Yeah, that's all over the country. Yes.
Yes. So like, future is iffy. Like, you know, the house, like, that is weather and the prices, they control a lot of our life. So in 1998, I do remember my dad telling me that the coffee prices were so low that it made sense not to harvest. So price is something that we don't have any control
Of
over.
course. But then again, that point comes into the picture wherein if you and me work together, which we already are, create an even better product, maybe that will have an appeal in the Indian market and a market abroad, which will fetch a higher rate also.
100%. Like, yeah, so premiumize, like, you know, not premiumizing, specialization is key
Yes.
in specialty coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
Great, Sufyan. Then, like I said again, thank you so much for making this trip, coming all the way from
happy.
Bangalore. Really appreciate. I was looking forward to this episode because there's some sort of a wavelength that we matched. And I really always am looking forward to learning and expanding my knowledge, which I did today. So that was great. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving your time
Always very
to
happy.
Graceful Coffee Roasters. And I hope to have this conversation again on and off the camera both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.